Okay, now that we've got the table saw dialed in, the 2x6s that I bought, we're going to rip into 2x2s. So we'll get 3 out of each one. We actually, doing it this way, saved about $1.50 for every 3. So about a third cheaper buying them.
And they're going to be a lot straighter.
Yep. One of the problems with 2x2s is they warp when you kill them dried. So, so let's go to ripping.
Is that board a little off the frame? Is that board a little bit bent on that end? Or
Yeah, that's okay. So there's going to be a lot more of these as we go, so I'm just going to turn the camera off for now, and we will get back to you when we get done with this. So the 2x6s are ripped down to 2x2s. I did leave a few 2x4s because I know I'm going to need some of those. But at this point, I'm not sure how many I'm going to need. And the idea was that I can always rip those down to 2x2s if I don't need them and I need more 2x2s. So now we're going to start cutting them to length so we can frame. Since the studs were going to be attached to the upper and lower plates of the framing, I pre-drilled all the holes. Okay, so I have my first piece of framing put together for the wall. Because these aren't standard framing like you would see in a house, I've done the 2 ends, and then I'll mark where the other studs are going to go. We'll move this into place. So in my garage area, I want 3 feet, and then I'm going to have a 2x4 instead of a 2x2, so I have something to nail onto the back for support, and then going forward, they will line up with the open windows. So now that I've got my studs laid out, I can lay this back down.
Hey,
So I gotta notch these.
true. True.
And we can get this one put in place.
Nice work.
And work on that side. Okay, end of day one of framing. Everything is cut. I have one 8-foot section on this side, framing done, and one behind the camera. And then I also got the wheel wells boxed in. So I'm going to clean up for tonight, and then tomorrow morning I'll be back at it, and we will finish framing this side and then frame in the windows that are going to remain open and closed, or remain open or available so they can be open and closed. So I'll catch you tomorrow. Okay, so Prudence is officially framed. So let's go take a look. Okay. So as we look down the passenger side, there will be 3 windows. There are actually 4 windows here that can be opened. And then it'll close off here. This will be storage. And then behind that will be the bedroom. And then we have 2 windows on that side that'll open up. And in the back will be the garage area. So coming down the driver's side of the bus, we've got 2 windows that'll open. We're going to have our emergency window in the sleeping area, and then one up front. And then, so we've got 2 windows here that can be opened. And then the next 3 will be closed off. This will be the bathroom and the shower. And then we'll have 3 windows that open. And then 2 windows up front that will not. And so the kitchen will be in front of these open windows. And then there'll be a desk and a TV here behind the driver's seat. So let me talk a little bit about the framing process. So now that the framing's done, if I had to do it over, there are a couple of changes I would make. First, where I put the windows, I did every other window originally because I could screw in from the outside studs. And then I used pocket screws and a Craig pocket jig to create those pockets. And honestly, as I go from one window to the next, they're not quite the same height. So I will have to do some adjustments when we're finishing that off. It would have been nice to do them all with pockets and just go from one window to the next so they're all nice and level. Another change I would have made is around the wheel wells. If we look back here, all I did was box them in. But if we look from one wheel well to the other, they're not quite parallel, so they're off a little bit. I would have addressed that. But not the end of the world. We're going to take care of that. So, as you saw earlier in the video, I used a table saw to rip the 2x6s. So after the 2x6 were ripped, all of the framing was cut with the chop saw, miter saw, and then I used 2.5-inch construction screws to assemble everything except the pocket joints. And then screwed into the subfloor, and then at the top up here I used 2-inch self-tapping screws so the frame is solidly attached up above. But I know I didn't show a lot of this step of the video. Framing is probably a pretty straightforward thing. It's just a lot of cutting and screwing and cutting and screwing, measuring, cutting, screwing.
You found the trick to getting those soft tapping screws through that model though.
Yes.
The trick.
Oh, so I tried a couple of things to get the self-tapping screws in. I actually could not do it with my cordless drill. It just did not have enough power and speed, so I used the regular plug-in one, and then it was able to spin it fast enough to get in. So next steps, probably, and when this is going to happen is going to depend a little bit. So it's supposed to be in the 90s all week. So we'll try to do some stuff in the evening after it's cooled off and I'm home from work. But first off, we'll be taking care of that heater, get that out of here, and then we can finish up the framing and the subfloor over there. And then I have some laminate 1/8" flooring that I'm going to put down to cover up the subfloor here. And then we're going to move some stuff in from the van. So the kitchenette from the van will move in here, and the refrigerator will move in here, and the storage shelf that I had built for the van will move in here for now. And then we will be putting a wall across the back, close off the garage, and we will be building our bed. So it'll be kitchen and garage, then bed, and then we'll get to the compost toilet, and then somewhere in there we gotta find time to paint.
Yes, that's the last requirement to make this an RV.
Yep. So once those 4 things are done, we will start the registration process here in Wisconsin. So the next video, I guess, will be us dealing with the heater. We were able to do some research. Paula actually did the research online.
I don't have the muscle to do the build, so I look up things.
And there were 2 shutoffs in the engine area, and we got that turned off. It does get really warm driving with that on.
This bus, being in Green Bay, only running during the school year, they never turned it off, I bet.
Probably never turned off, yeah.
We need it off.
Yes. Yep. Okay. So that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, make sure you click the like button and tell your friends, share the video, and click the bell so you can receive notifications. So when the next video comes out, you'll get that. And remember, travel, explore, and live life to its fullest.